Matthew then says he healed their sick. All right, so the question now is, when does he go up into the mountain? Does he heal the sick, then go up into the mountain? Does he go up into the mountain after he heals and teaches? And all he does at the mountain is feed them? So Mark, it doesn't mention a mountain. It just says he began to teach them many things. Then he fed them. Luke, he spoke to them of the kingdom and healed them and then fed them. Matthew, he healed them and then fed them. Only John mentions that he went up into a mountain, and it doesn't mention that he heals or teaches them. I think because of that, I'm not going to say he does all these things from the mountain, because it's not said in Matthew or Mark or Luke. So I'm not going to... I don't know. Well, if I say he goes up into the mountain afterwards, I'd be saying he didn't preach and teach from the mountain. So either way, I'm making a statement. I'm placing Jesus somewhere when he's healing and teaching. If I say he goes up to the mountain before, he does it all from the mountain. If I say he goes up into the mountain afterwards, he heals and teaches from the shore or from the land by the mountain. I gotta pick one. I can't have it both ways. You know what? I think I am going to have only the feeding of the 5,000 from the mountain. I'll just keep it that way because that's how it is in John. It only says he went up into the mountain and then he fed them. So that's how I'll have it. And I guess I will place Jesus down below on the... Well, see, if I do that, it makes sense to be on a mountain if you don't have any technological device to amplify your voice. If there really are 5,000 people, it would make sense for him to do all his teaching from the mountain. But he's also healing. And that healing would have to be, or based on how we've seen before, it would probably be one-on-one. So maybe he could heal down there and then go up into the mountain and teach. And feed them. Mark says he began to teach them, so it doesn't mention any healing. So he could have gone up into the mountain and began to teach them many things. Luke spoke of the kingdom of God and healed them that had need of healing. So maybe that switched. He healed them that had need of healing, then he went up into the mountain and spoke to them of the kingdom. I guess I could do that. If you're just mentioning two things happened, you're not necessarily saying them in order. Yeah, I think I'll do that. He healed those who had need of healing. Then he went up into the mountain, spoke to them, and then fed them. and he healed their sick. That has to come next. That's from Matthew. Mark only has, he taught them, so just Matthew and Luke, and healed them that had need of healing. So yeah, instead of them, I'll have their sick that had need of healing. Yeah. And healed, and he healed. So and is both Matthew and Luke. And just before this sentence, I have the sentence from Luke, and he received them. So I wouldn't need to then say, and he healed their sick. So I'm just going to combine the he so that I'm not making it annoying with repetition. And he received them and healed their sick. So it'll follow more closely with how Luke has it. And healed. And healed. Now, Matthew only. They're sick. Well, Luke now that had need of healing. That's kind of redundant. They're sick that had need of healing? Whatever. I'll just leave it. The problem is that he goes up into a mountain with his disciples. And then the company come to him. That wouldn't make sense if little time had passed. If he had healed the people, then went up in the mountain, and then he was going to preach to them, and then after that, feed them. It would make a little bit more sense if there was some kind of an expectation that, okay, I'm done taking care of you guys. Now I'm off on my own. I'm going to spend time with my disciples, because that was why he went there in the first place, to be private, to be apart. So I rethought, I'm going to actually put the preaching and speaking to them in the kingdom before they go up into the mountain, as if that was Jesus' further attempt to get away privately with the disciples, so that this verse in John, when Jesus lifted up his eyes and saw a great company come to him, it would be, I guess, sort of another obstacle or just more work. Even if it wasn't a surprise, just that it was an attempt to get away, but they still came to him. So now again, the crowd came to him. And it wouldn't make sense if that was, he healed them, he went away. He saw them, oh wait, they're here, I'll preach to them, and then feed them. He sees them, and then it says in John, right after he sees them, he asks Philip, where should we buy bread? So they seem really closely connected, seeing them and feeding them, instead of seeing them preaching for a while, to the point that now it's late, and the disciples want them to go away. So I thought of it like this. He's already healing them. I'll add that he's also preaching and speaking to them of the kingdom. Then he goes up into a mountain, out with his disciples. And before he lifts up his eyes to see the great company, that's when I'll say his disciples came to him and said, send the people away. As if the people are still just loitering, waiting on him. But he has spoken to them, he's healed them, and now it's on them to choose what they're going to do, but they stick around. And then after a while, when it gets late, that's when the disciples come to him and say, send them away, because they're not leaving on their own. And it would be better to have it that way than to have, he goes up into the mountain, preaches to the point that it gets late, and then his disciples interrupt him, if you will, and say, send them away, it's getting late, stop preaching to them so that they can go get food. It would make more sense if they're just waiting, they're just loitering, and then the disciples say, it's time to send them away. So I am going to put back together the healing and the preaching and the speaking, and then I will add in that he goes off to the mountain. So then the question, should I put speaking to them first and then healing? Because that's how it is in Luke. Maybe I should have healing first, because it would be kind of rude if someone is really sick and needs healing to first preach at them and then heal them. Even though Luke says he spoke to them in the kingdom of God and healed them that had need of healing. I don't know. Maybe it just all happened mixed together. He's healing and he's preaching. Should I have he began to teach them many things and spoke to them in the kingdom of God and healed them that had need of healing? Or he received them and healed their sick that had need of healing and began to teach them many things? I think I'm going to go with he healed them first. Yeah. Now, Mark only, and he began to teach them many things. Now from Luke, and spoke to them of the kingdom of God, and nope, I already put in healed. That's it. Now it reads, and Jesus, when he came out, saw many people and was moved with compassion towards them, because they were as sheep not having a shepherd. And he received them and healed their sick that had need of healing. And he began to teach them many things and spoke to them of the kingdom of God. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.